Recording, yes. Alrighty, so welcome everyone to Wednesday, August 12th, Apple Cider meeting.
Yay!
Okay. As we mentioned before the recording started, David Pogue had to reschedule. Okay. Waiting for all of my streams to start. Okay. He got invited to the Scientific America Eclipse cruise to see the eclipse today. And mute my speaker. No, mute this speaker. Which speaker? That one. Only 4 screens in front of me, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so of course it was cloudy and overcast and rainy today because there were 3 astronomical events. We had a 6 planetary alignment this morning just before dawn, the eclipse around 1 or so, and tonight is the Pleiades. In fact,
No, Perseids. Yeah.
One of those
One of those pew.
Yeah. So, for any of you that wanted to see the eclipse, this is what it looked like in Rochester.
Only 10%.
If it wasn't cloudy, yeah. And I remember from the 2024 total eclipse, it didn't really start getting dark, noticeably dark, until like 80 or 85%. So that was interesting. So now if we look at the next eclipse for Rochester.
There's one next.
Oh, no, wrong button. Oh.
Well, you had a nice weekend for the air show.
Yeah. Turn that mic on. There we are. Go back to this window. I can't. The buttons in that window don't work. I have to go to the actual window it's in. So there's a lunar eclipse in a couple of weeks. Partial.
And the interesting thing is, like, whenever there's a solar eclipse, there is always a lunar eclipse within a couple of weeks. Because it kind of works in both directions.
The way the moon works out?
Yeah.
Cool.
So did you send out a reminder for this meeting, Steve? I couldn't find one, and Carol didn't see one either.
Yeah, I sent it.
Yes,
Sunday, I think.
I don't know.
Let's see. Oh, damn it. No. So the send now button is selected, but the other send now button is not.
Oops.
I'll send it now, and maybe people will realize. Okay.
Steve.
Why does it say 2 send now buttons? Well, all right. I have to pick when I want to send it.
Well, everybody knows when it is.
Yeah.
Jesus. Steve, can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yep, we can hear you, Charlie. Or I can, at least.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
I could.
Okay, you're on the YouTube stream. Your volume is a little low, and if anything, the audience members' volume is a little high.
All right. I can turn them down a little.
Oh, and there's the
Turn me up a little.
wind rushing sound again. It just started up.
Alrighty. So we didn't have a continuous.
And I need to
Go ahead.
I need to correct my statement about the wind rushing sound. That happened before I told you about the YouTube volume adjustment problems.
right, so we know it's not Shirley.
Yeah, I know, I was going to say, can't blame Shirley.
Let me make a new tab here. Alrighty, so we didn't have a contingency plan for David bowing out, so we're going to have sort of a off-the-cuff meeting tonight. Here's some of the latest news from Apple. Friday Night Baseball's coming back. Apparently soccer is also. Quarterly report. Yeah, we didn't talk about the quarterly report because that was last week. They probably made $1 gazillion. Let me get 6 colors up. There we are. Share this tab. Alright, so for Q3 2026, revenue of $109 billion, up 16%. iPhone revenue up 22%, Mac revenue up 10%, services revenue up 12%, wearables up 6%, iPad was down 6%. I guess we're waiting for the new M5 iPads. And this year, this quarter, iPhone was exactly half of Apple's sales. That between the phone and services, the other hardware are kind of sort of also rans. It's $29.8 billion in profit. So $30 billion in profit in 90 days. Gross margin ended up over 50%. And a lot of people are saying that's because the government paid $2.5 billion in collected tariffs back to Apple. And Apple just added it to revenue. Some companies have said they're going to try and refund tariffs to the customers. But Apple has said they're going to put it back into infrastructure and building new chips, which is why the White House gave them the money back, because that's their big thing about producing the chips here in this country. I think Costco said they were going to lower their prices for a little bit to make up for the refund. FedEx and UPS did say they were going to try to repay people directly because that's who a lot of people had to pay. You know, UPS brings you a package from China. You, the person receiving it, pay the tariff because you're the importer, basically. Let's see again. iPhone made most of the profit. In other markets, China was down. Europe and the Middle East and Asia were up. America is kind of flat in growth. There's a better picture of how that works. So basically, Apple made a crap load of money, except for iPads. That was only $6 billion only.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if Apple broke out all of their product lines, each one would be a Fortune 100. Wearables, home. So if you have Apple stock, I think the stock went up. Yeah, down today. So if we go for the last week, when was... So 12 days ago was the quarter end. Yeah, so the stock jumped up and then died. What does it say? It's buy on rumors and sell on news. Is that how it works? bunch of OS updates that came out for the OSs. Oh no, I'm sorry, this is a different program. This is the Apple Upgrade Program, which replaces the Apple, what do they call it? Apple Update Program, I guess, where you can lease your device on a 2 or 3 year plan and get a new device at the end of that time period. So Apple used to have their own Apple Update Program where you paid into Apple over the 2 years, and you got a new device at the end of the 2 years, and or every year, and you just kept paying for the new device. So for people who want the new device every year, this can be advantageous, and it cuts down on the price. Klarna is one of the buy now pay later companies, so you can get a new iPhone for $18 a month. And when you look at the differentials between, say, I'll get the 17E or the 17 Pro or the 17 Pro Max, it might only be $20 a month difference to get the higher model. So a lot of people are buying the higher models because they're not that much extra per month. Let's see, do they say? So iPhone and Apple Watch, and they're also doing it on Macs and iPads, and so that's the first time they've offered that option. It's basically only been on iPhones until now. There's the Watch. Let's see, the Mac. So you can lease a Mac starting at $25 a month. And what's that? That's only 2 Starbucks lattes? Now I personally have never liked leasing because then all of your money goes into the company and not into the equity of the device. So when you're ready to give that device back, you basically don't get anything for it because you didn't pay for the device, you just paid the leasing bill. But a lot of people like leasing. Anyone think they might go for the upgrade program and get a new device every year?
Yeah.
Doubt it.
I don't like having to get used to new devices all the time.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm going to do more. There's more news. No, this isn't news. This is their in the loop. Okay. Get out of that. All right, anybody else have any news type things they'd be interested?
No.
Their news library used to go on a lot more. Here we go, more news. Soccer returns, football returns, baseball returns. Apple got 89 Emmy nominations.
Mm-hmm.
Apple's trying to source more communication chips. But Apple's also trying to buy memory chips from a Chinese company that's on the blacklist because the American companies and the Korean companies don't have it. We just have to hope that if the RAM prices ever come back down again, they'll drop their prices again back to pre-lift jumps.
What was the thing about Apple Creative Studio?
Is that back a page? Oh, Creator Studio. What are they adding? Updates to everything. So the question is always, what comes to regular people and what comes to the subscriber people? More AI-powered workflows. Yippee. AI captions. So you can close caption something automatically. Final Cut Camera is kind of neat, where you can put this Final Cut Camera app on other devices, other phones and pads, and then have it feed into your Final Cut. So you can do a multi-camera shoot live. I'm trying to, how far down does this go, and does it ever say what is free and what is not?
I keep hoping that I can still have numbers and pages without having a subscription.
You can, but there are certain features you don't get.
Mm.
And it doesn't ever say that anywhere.
Well, that's okay for me, because I don't want the features either.
Yeah, it all seems to be tied into to AI. How about what? Creator Studio features are not included in the free version. Generative AI, Magic Fill, so there are certain things that don't come with the paid subscription. But if you're at all into creative, as a what do I want to say, wannabe YouTube influencer, for $13 a month you get a couple $1,000s worth of programs for video editing, audio editing, everything you need to become an influencer, or be your own movie producer.
Well, you still need a bunch of actors and places to do things.
Yeah.
That's an interesting question. The one right below it, what happens if my subscription ends? What happens to my stuff?
Projects remain on your device, but you can't edit them anymore. Documents are unchanged and can be edited.
Edits using features.
But yeah, none of the pay features are available. There's just no list of what the pay feature is versus the free features.
Oops.
Oh, here's one. AI-based features, advanced image generation. Oh, you get all the stock photos and stock templates. So you don't have to pay for. Absolutely.
Oh, well, but probably templates would be a nice thing to have for someone. Yeah.
Alrighty. Let's stop sharing that page. Excuse me. Alrighty. Anyone have any questions they want to bring up? Linda, did you say you had a question? So you're muted, Linda.
My printer, oh, there's a couple things. First, it says, it needs a firmware update, yes or no. Then I push it, nothing happens. And the other thing is, when I try to print, it says it's out of ink or low on ink. Well, the black is like 3/4. The color is low, but I'm trying to print in black.
Too bad.
That's what I figured.
If any of the ink is low, then you can't print, period. That's
I have a comment on that based on experience, but also my ignorance. So here we go. When I bought my present printer, I think I got it in a Staples store. Nice young feller was taking care of me. Seemed to know what he was talking about. And I was thinking, because this is a toner printer, technically an LED printer, I guess it would be called, but they call it a laser printer. But anyway, what would happen if one of the three color toner cartridges ran out, but could I still print, blah, blah, blah. And he said something about shifting to grayscale. Does that ring a bell?
yeah. So a lot depends on the model of printer anyway. So sometimes you can print when one color is low. But if it's a color that's low and you want to print in black, when you choose the print command, you have an option of printing in black and white or grayscale. It depends on the actual printer driver. So it won't use any of the colors. And that may work if you still have black ink available.
Right.
Let me see if I can
That makes
find.
sense.
So if I go to print, and select my color. Oh, I don't have my color printer is offline. So let's bring it online. And I'm trying to see if I have that setting, and then I'll bring the mirror up. Alright, printer info. Order supply levels. It can't read my printer, so it's not giving me the option of black and white or color. Sometimes the grayscale option is available, so it prints any colors as shades of gray rather than trying to use the color. And that again depends on the printer driver, if it has that option available.
Okay.
And it's usually, if you scroll down in the print dialog, that you get extra options. How many sheets you want to print, what order you want to print them in, things like that.
Okay. I'll look for it. Otherwise, I guess I'll just replace the color.
Yeah, you end up replacing it. So there was a video posted by Linus Tech Tips the other day where he went into a Staples to buy a printer, he and a friend, and they filmed it all. And he was just overwhelmed by the number of printers available. So you got Brother and Canon and Epson and HP, and they all have a dozen printers that are almost completely identical. And so knowing what's the difference between each model was annoying. But there's been a new class. It's always been recommended by a laser printer because the cost per print is lower. But color laser printers are much more expensive to start with. So a lot of people don't like that initial cost. So now we're starting to see something in the inkjet line called super tanks, which are basically refillable ink tanks in the printer, so that the cost per print is lower. And so they were looking at the Epson models because Shaquille O'Neal is their spokesperson for the super tanks. So it's one way of getting a less expensive color printer, less expensive than laser, but still being able to have less expensive than regular ink cartridges. Because typically those little tiny half a milliliter ink cartridge is $20, and you get 50 pages out of it before you have to replace it again.
Yeah, I actually bought one of those for my granddaughter for Christmas with the tanks.
Nice. All right, Bob, you had your hand up first, and then Charlie.
Okay. I have a brother color laser printer, and it worked for us for years. Once or twice it needed more toner, and I was able to get toner and change it successfully. But without doing anything that I know of to it, it simply doesn't work anymore. Right now I just tried to print a document, see what it would say. And it says printer, no printer selected. So it's got an up and down arrow, and I click on that. It says add printer. So it says add printer. And I got three options: default, IP, or Windows. Now I have no idea which of those to choose. I know it's not Windows, and it's connected wirelessly to my system here. So I think IP might be the right choice there.
But then you have to know what the IP address is of the printer. Default is usually the best because it shows all the printers it can see. If it's not seeing your printer, then it means the printer's not connected to the network. So you might want to recheck the Wi-Fi settings in the printer. A lot of times printers will have a Wi-Fi light on them. Make sure the Wi-Fi light is on and not blinking. So the computer doesn't see the printer connected to the network. If the printer has a USB cable, you can try plugging that directly in. That sometimes works.
That's something I can try. Right now it's got stuff stacked on it, so I don't want to start messing around with it, but I'll keep that in mind.
Yep. I every now and then have to turn off my HP network printer, turn it off, turn it back on, and it magically works again without changing anything in it. Just like your computer, sometimes you just got to turn it off and turn it back on again.
Well, I don't know if I assume it's off. There are no lights,
Yeah.
blinking, no lights lit.
So that would make sense why it doesn't see it.
That's the way it would always be, and then I would print and it would wake up.
Well, that's asleep versus off.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's off or sleeping.
Okay, this is good. This is a remote meeting because Bob can't punch me. But is the printer?
I see you.
You can see me, but your fist ain't going to come out the screen.
I'm not violent.
I'm doing the wrong thing. Can I do?
I'm getting some nice electronic raspberry there. Okay, is the printer powered on? Is it plugged in? Yada yada.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Is it plugged in tight?
I don't say light. I can press the button and see.
Yeah. There was kind of this thing I read about on some of the tech support forums is you have the customer unplug the power cord from both ends and then shake the bad data out of it.
Oh, God.
Plug it both in, plug it back in. So that's telling them, is it plugged in? And they say, yeah, of course it's plugged in. Okay, we'll go unplug it and shake the bad data out of it. Then they can be sure it's really plugged in at both ends.
I get you.
Or if it's an Ethernet cord, you tell them to swap the ends. And that's just to make sure that their both ends are plugged in.
I see an on-off switch, and when I press it, I don't get any lights, so it may be unplugged. I'm gonna have to get down there and dig around.
Yeah, sometimes a power strip on the floor gets
Yeah,
gets
that's
knocked over or
possible.
something. Yep.
Maybe Carol can go down there, and she's smaller.
All right, Charlie, you had your own question?
Yes, I did. And you know, I can't remember it. I did have an interesting experience, not directly related to computers, but Saturday night I was taking a nap and I opened my eyes and the power was off. And I thought, all right, it's a power failure. We'll wait and see. And the next time I opened my eyes, I realized the lights were on in my living room. And so I ended up with the maintenance guy out around 10:30 at Saturday night. It was a bad circuit breaker, not tripped, bad. It had tripped, but you couldn't reset it. So we had to replace the breaker, but I'd never heard of that before.
Wow.
But,
Makes sense.
yes, you know,
They would go bad eventually.
Yeah, and if I remember what the heck was on my mind, I'll be amazed. I'll be back.
Alrighty. I got that Claude thing on passkeys you sent along. We can talk about that later if you want.
Okay, but yeah, and I actually had another topic I was interested in, and I can't remember that either. You're really lucking out tonight, folks.
Bob doesn't have to punch you in the face. You forget all by yourself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I did go back and ask Claude about my problem with YouTube, where having once upon a time set the playback speed to 0.5. Now, anytime I went into a new video, I was having to switch it to 1 again. And the answer Claude gave was lots of possibilities, not all necessarily my fault, and it was going to take some real poking around in there to figure what was going on, because YouTube supposedly saves the speed you select, but it kind of matters where in the video you make that selection, whether it actually does save it. And apparently, in other words, there are some problems at Google's, YouTube, and that beyond my capacity to fix. So I don't know. I just keep changing it back to 1. And I'm hearing the wind again here.
All right. Anybody else have a question? Well, Charlie's might bubble to the surface.
Yeah, don't hold your breath.
I have a question. I don't know if I've asked this before. If I have, just tell me. But I've had an experience several times now with doing texting with people. Having something that a person swears up and down, they sent me a text message and I don't see any text message from them, and then find that there's a mysterious email that is from that person, but it doesn't have their name. It has their phone number and then VZ Pix something or other. And I guess that's a Verizon thing.
Yeah, every cell carrier has their own text to email bridge.
But we haven't figured out why this happens, and it only happens with certain people. And I know other people that are on Verizon, and I get text messages from them just fine.
It's usually some congestion in the system. Text. How did they word it? Text messages don't have guaranteed delivery. And sometimes the carrier knows there's a cellular issue getting the message from one person to another, and so it will send it via email. But email is also no guarantee it will come through. But sending it a different channel may work better than sending it through the text channel.
So can I quickly interrupt to clarify, Carol, that the second message you get is an actual email, is that it?
Yeah, I don't get any the text message from that person does not show up anywhere in my text messages, but I will see an email, but the sender is, it's like a number, like a
It's-
10-digit number,
it's their
which is
phone
their phone number,
Yeah.
and then it's at vzpix.com or org or whatever it is, that's the Verizon thing.
Yep.
That they send things through email that should have been a text message. But they're trying to, supposedly what I read online is that Verizon has wanted to phase that out. And so I don't know what then will happen when they phase it out. I mean, will I get nothing?
The sender will probably end up getting a message not delivered error and can try sending it again.
But the weird thing is that this would be like, it's happened with, a teacher that I have from guitar class, and he'll send a group text. So it'll be sent to three of us, and the other two people will get it as a text message, and I will get it as an email. And sometimes one of the other people is in the same room with me, and he sends it. They get it as a text. I get it as an email. So, I mean, I'm baffled.
I'm wondering if it's, well, at work we use a program called DialPad that can send the text messages, but it sends them through an API bridge, so it doesn't actually send them on the cell network. So I could see a school maybe doing something like that. But if the teacher's actually typing the text on their phone as a text.
Yeah, he's doing it as an individual. He's not using the school.
There's also text messaging is being replaced by RCS messaging.
Is there a way to select RCS? How do I know if I have RCS or not?
In your phone, in the settings under messages, let me see if I can find where it is. You can enable RCS, but both ends have to support it and the carrier has to support it. So it's still in its relative infancy. But you can see in a message, well, iMessages are always encrypted with the blue bubbles, tells it's an iMessage. A green bubble, if it says RCS, then it is using the new protocol. And one of the big features of RCS is it can do end-to-end encryption. But not all the carriers support it yet. So turning it on your end, starting in iOS 26.5. So it has to be on each end and the carrier for it to work its way through. So then if they can't, it falls back to SMS, and if somebody is sending a picture or video, it falls back to MMS.
Okay, so
Which
let's
is
see.
multimedia.
I've got MMS slider on. Let's see what it says with RCS. Oh, yeah, got it turned on. So I've got RCS messaging turned on.
Yeah, messages RCS on or off. Yep. Why are there never pictures? I like pictures. What images? Yeah. So in messages, then RCS messaging. So that gives you the best option of you starting an RCS message. But again, it's the carrier and the other end have to support it too.
Otherwise, you're saying you will just convert it back to SMS?
Right.
And what was the other type you were talking about, MMS?
MMS is multimedia messaging, if there's a picture or a video. And MMS has to convert video to a really crappy format called 3GP. and VGPP. Uh, and so it's a very low quality video. So RCS is going to be able to handle full quality images and video, mostly because RCS is going through the internet and not going through the cell system, just like iMessage does. So if you've ever sent a video to an Android user and they complain that it's crappy quality, it's because it was sent as a MMS with low quality.
And you're saying the MMS goes through the cell network?
Yes.
Well, maybe I'll have to have a look at his phone.
Yep.
Look at his settings and see if he's got that.
He may need to issue check for an update to Android. And if it's too old a phone, it may not be able to upgrade to the version he needs. It's like on the iPhone, you have to be able to run OS 26. Alrighty, any other questions?
I remembered, I don't know if I remembered what I forgot before, but I remembered something I thought about before I forgot. Never mind. This goes back to the business of the next Mac OS, not having Rosetta and not working with Intel-based devices, external devices, yada yada.
Yep.
So, well, I'm going to hold off on that and ask AI about the general subject, because I've been getting that message about the photo scanner I was using, and have not used it in a couple of months now, at least. And but then recently I got one about SanDisk security, and I have no idea if that's something that is built into the Mac or it's something that has to do with an external hard drive that I was using to store my GoPro videos. So what I'm gonna pursue at some point is the question of how to tell what sort of things are left in your Mac that are Intel based or required, that kind of thing. Clarified before I get into trying to understand what I need to do about it.
Yeah. So you can do a get info on any application, and it will say in the kind field, it will be Intel, Apple Silicon, or Universal, to let you know what kind of application it is. You can also go to System Profiler, and let me put that up. System information on newer computers, and go to Applications, and let me not share, and you can sort by the kind of applications you've got.
I apologize, Steve. I'm trying to type and listen at the same time. What did you need to go into on the Mac?
The system information in the utilities folder, or hold down the option key while you go to the Apple menu. And then in the software tab under applications, it will list every application in your computer and tell you what kind it is. So I have an old Adobe program that's 32-bit and already unsupported. So you can see what what programs are Intel and what programs are Apple Silicon or Universal.
And I'm sorry, what is Universal again?
Both Apple
Oh,
Silicon and Intel.
okay.
It makes the binary twice as big usually, but it does mean the developer only has to write one version.
And then that kind of app or whatever does not require Rosetta to function, right?
Correct.
Right.
So almost the longer you've had your computer or the more often you have upgraded, the more likely it is you'll have a lot of old apps you probably don't even know are in there.
Right.
But the system knows they're there and gives you the warning about future Intel apps not working.
Thank you.
So SanDisk is a manufacturer of usually SSDs.
Right.
So it probably came in an installation from a SanDisk disk.
Or a card, maybe.
Yeah.
Because here's the deal. What I do is I take the videos on the GoPro, and then I take the card out of the GoPro and put it in an adapter that I plug into the Mac, and then it can read the stuff on the card. And it's possible that, in doing that, I ended up with that SanDisk security thing in the Mac somewhere. I don't know.
More likely an installer to turn on encryption on a disk because it's named security.
Right, okay.
In fact,
I have never consciously done that, but God knows, Okay, thank you.
yep. Oh, and SanDisk security software ended its life July of 2025.
Cool.
And now the new app is just SanDisk app.
It's almost starting to sound attractive to do that Lisa computer thing.
Well, one of the things is when you migrate your data, you can choose what to migrate. All your applications and all of your users you can select separately. So one of the things that is nice to do, especially if you've done a full migration over too many years, is just transfer your data. Don't transfer your applications. Then you don't get any of that old application cruft coming in. So, but the new computer has all your new data on it, your files. So when you go to open a document and it says, I don't have Microsoft Word, then you can go and install that separately. So you install the apps you need instead of having every app there bringing in a lot of stuff you didn't need.
Yeah.
All right,
The
Bob.
only thing about that. Right, sir. Oh, my quick comment is simply that's problem is that, by the time I'm attempting to do something that is to stop me and ask me to install it, and I have to do it is not going to be welcome.
Yeah. All right, go ahead, Bob. What'd you find out?
Well, I moved all the junk off the top of the computer or the printer, and it wasn't responding. The touchscreen wouldn't respond. I pressed something, and the little home light lit up. Well, anyway, I unplugged it and replugged it in. It was plugged in properly, but once I did that, then the touch screen lit up, and I tried to print something. I went back to the computer, and it could find right now I'm looking at the, what do you call the list of all the things printing. I'm going to delete what I'm printing now, and I'm going to go back to the document. I'm going to click print on the document. Oh, I did it wrong. I just clicked on it. I gotta go Command P. And it shows the printer. It's got the Brother MFC 9130 CW. And I'm going to click print. And it shows the document and the grid, or not the grid, but the little progress bar is zooming back and forth. And there's an error message right there, printing 1 of 1, the printer not responding. So it's alive, but not functional.
You could
But
probably
it's
try
progress.
deleting it from the printer settings and adding it back again and see if that helps. But it is possible that the printer has just worn out. But it could be the network communications that have failed, and a USB cable would work.
Well, it showed it came right up. I didn't have to find the, the settings and everything. It recognizes printers. Let me see. The name of the printer, the model, the device name. Driver version is 4.0. Show printer web page.
Yeah, that will tell you if the communications are working to the printer.
And says Safari cannot connect to the server.
Yeah,
So I assume that's the Brother.
yeah, so the network communications still aren't working right. Oops, you pushed the wrong button.
We lost you, Bob.
You closed the wrong window.
Yeah. He's back.
But you're muted.
You're mute. Bob, you're mute.
Can you hear me now?
Funny.
But with this Google Meets, a lot of times I'll click a red button thinking I'm just shutting out that window, and it shuts out the application. I have to reconnect.
Yep.
So this is like only the third time today, so it's pretty good. Pretty good.
I wondered why you kept disappearing.
Yeah. I'd say try going to the system settings and removing the printer from the list and adding it back.
Okay, I'll try that. I won't bother you anymore with this tonight.
But at least we made some progress.
Yeah,
Even though
it's not
still-
dead, it's breathing.
Exactly.
I'm not dead yet.
Yep.
Bring out
But
your
Steve-
dad. He said he's not dead
Steve,
yet. Yep.
if we do need a new printer, what are a few that you would think would be good? I mean, we don't print that much, so just for a home computer, home
If
printer.
we get another printer, it's going to be a color laser printer, guaranteed.
Yeah.
Messing around with ink stuff. I heard about Shaquille O'Neal and tanks, and it's all. We've had this for what, 15 years?
Probably.
Yeah, you want a toner printer, that's for sure.
Yeah. And Brother, we tend to like Brother because they are just as good a quality as HP, and generally a little cheaper than HP.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we have a color Brother printer that we like very much.
Okay. Good to
I
know.
know that when I bought it, there was some special closeout sale at Staples, so I not only got a good cheap printer, but extra cheap because of that sale.
Yeah, and it's really lasted a long time. We can't.
Yeah. No, that's why I was so pissed off. I didn't even do the stuff that I did tonight because it always works so well, and I was feeling, like it hurt my feelings.
I want to mention a couple of things here. A couple of years ago, I got a brother, as I said, technically an LED printer, but a toner printer. And the reason I got it was that any smaller, cheaper one did not seem to have a scanning capability. Bob, does your printer that you have
Yeah,
now?
it does.
It
Yeah.
does. All right.
Yeah.
And the other thing I wanted to mention that just bubbled back into my brain is earlier Carol mentioned Carol Areno mentioned an Epson ink tank printer. And I had one of those. I had previously had HP cartridge printers, and I got sick of the expense of the cartridges and the fact that, I at one point I paid more money for an extra capacity cartridge in it. If you'll pardon my saying so, it basically peed half the ink out into the structure of the printer underneath it. So that was the end of that. So I got the Epson ink tank printer, and in, I don't know, maybe a year or less, it lost one of the colors, and I went in and tried to screw around with it and managed to deactivate another color, and it is now in a landfill somewhere.
Oh no.
So that was that's when I decided to cough the big bucks and go to the toner printer. But it kind of bothered me that I seemed to have to spend as much as I did to get the scanning feature. It's possible that if I ever had to replace it, I would get a cheaper toner printer without scanning capability, and separately buy a scanner. For how rarely I use scanning. I don't use it often, but when I do, it's because I need it.
Yeah.
Well, back when I used to buy and repair computers and resell them, and I always do it with a printer. And I found the cheap printers I bought, it was cheaper to buy a new printer than to buy the ink for it.
Yeah, people said that, right? In fact, there were stories about people buying printers on eBay and finding that they had no ink cartridges in them because somebody had bought the printer, taken the ink cartridges, and then sold the empty printer on eBay.
As long as it doesn't say includes ink in the description, that's perfectly legal.
Wow.
I'm sure.
Wow.
That thing on the upper right far corner of the screen is the photo scanner I used. That worked very well.
I remember when I got this printer, and Carol, do we still use the word conniption?
Oh my God, it's so huge. I said, "Are you out of your mind?"
Connection? That's not that big a word.
Yeah,
but it's not used. It's not part of the vernacular these days.
You're talking to
I know you're old like me, but people don't use it much. And
maybe for anybody who looks at the YouTube video, we should explain. But anyway,
that's what Carol had.
First used in the 1830s.
Yeah.
I get a lot of stuff on the internet that's vocabulary based, and it teaches me new words. And I think, why do I need this word? No, if I learn it and use it appropriately, 90% of my audience is not going to know what the word means. They haven't learned it, so why even bother expanding my vocabulary? I do on a regular basis. I got a really robust vocabulary, but I only have to use about 10% of it for most communication.
Yep.
Okay, Bob, we'll keep in mind if we have to replace it.
So color laser printers are dropped significantly in price recently, but they still are a higher initial cost than a basic ink printer. But you save money in the end by the consumables being better.
Yeah.
I remember, what, 30 years ago now, when I first met Jackie, we went into the microwave store she worked at because they had a new color printer that was only 50 grand. And
50.
yeah,
My God.
and it was revolutionary that it was so cheap. And then Apple's let me see, Apple's color laser writer, I think it was only 10 when it came out. I have one in the closet. Yeah.
Well, I don't think we need a new printer. There's just a problem here that has to be resolved, and then we'll be good to go.
Yeah, somewhere
Yeah.
in the networking settings. Alrighty, any other questions?
Nope.
Alrighty, do we want to take a short break and then come back and continue on?
Sure.
Okay.
Great.
Alright, so
Sit back a little.
Sounds good. Gotta get my hot chocolate.
Good idea. I think I'll do that.
yeah,
Hot chocolate.
so if we say 10 minutes, then by 15 we'll all be back.
Right.
Oh, yes, 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 yes. Tomorrow we can try out. One of the most productive. Yes. I know, they never got. No, it was that one. I called for, how I could get it paid for, and I was above the, and I thought they'd call me and follow up. It's September, I'll have them come, but get that contract, they come. And I'll just ask them about it. The price was water better than $5,000.
Oh, good. I could have put jelly on it. What you eating, girl? Cornbread. Yeah, Mission Barbecue today, and comes with cornbread. I was in the store to cut down on feedback. It was a good idea Rick had for hot chocolate. Got some Swiss Miss.
Bob, the good news is we have another piece for tomorrow.
Okay, good. I'm watching the final table of the World Series of Poker.
How many are left?
There are 8 left.
Oh.
Every one of them gets $1 million.
$1 million?
Million. The winner gets $10 million.
Wow.
And for the 8 players that are now currently playing, now this is all over, but I haven't seen it before, so it's new to me. If they can outlast one other player, then their prize money goes up $250,000.
Wow.
So if they can just restrain themselves, not get into that pot and let somebody else go bust, they go up $250,000. Difference between first and second is $3 million.
I think I just sit it out and let people knock each other out.
Well, yeah, but they might. It doesn't necessarily work that way because there's blinds involved.
Oh,
Every
that's
time it
right.
goes around, you have to put in
Yeah.
minimum bet.
So you're losing money constantly.
It's probably a lot different playing against real people than it is computer bots.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
The leader here, the one he's got more than double. Well, he's more than triple. He's over 200,000, 200 big blinds. The next highest is like 60. So he's like triple everybody else, and he's only 22 years old.
I remember seeing a televised event a few years ago when a lot of normal people first started finding about this World Series of Poker. And there's this one guy that had a little index card with him, and all the other players kept saying he was cheating. And it turned out it was the order of the winning hands, because he was
Oh,
so used to.
so green.
Yep. What hand beats what hand?
What beats what? But you can take notes at the table. Nobody's going to say anything about that. But you know, Hold'em Poker took off when Chris Moneymaker won the World Series because he was an everyday guy. He wasn't a pro player, and he was an accountant. And he was 27 at the time. And there's a big hand where he bluffed a guy and won. Bluffing's overrated. It's not as much a part of the game as a lot of people think.
So he was already good with numbers if he was an accountant.
Yep. They got, is it Bruce Bluffer? You familiar with that name? He's the one he's the announcer for the World Wrestling. You know, we're ready to wrestle. And they got him introducing, shuffle up and deal, da da da. There's 2 Canadians in the final 8. One's a former pro hockey player, and the other one is from Montreal. I don't know exactly what he does. And my new remote for my Apple TV works fine. I wasn't sure if it was the machine or the remote that was bad, but we got this at where do we get it? Blockbuster or something, right?
Best Buy.
Best Buy. And well, Blockbuster's the videotape rental, right?
Yeah.
They're not around anymore.
They've been gone, Bob, forever.
I took a time machine back.
I guess you did, maybe like
They had one of
20
those
years.
things from the future.
20 years.
My last pop socket was Jupiter. And this one is poker stuff.
Apparently there was a Ho at the final table.
Say again?
Mario Ho.
Oh, Maria Ho.
Maria? Well, it says Mario on this page.
No, it's Maria Ho. She's one of the best female players in the world, but she's a broadcaster for this.
So I was looking at the Google Root filters and remembering the face filters thing, and I wondered, is there a place that you could upload faces and
Yeah, it says your
voices and use it to make your own little movie where maybe you're playing all of the actors?
well, it says for backgrounds you can add your own.
But not filters.
Yeah, there's a difference between backgrounds and filters. A filter would be like a face filter where maybe you look like the owl or a frog or something like that.
There are several overlay programs. I think one was called Snap.
Is it Snap or Snapchat?
Well, it's part of Snapchat, but they have a camera overlay that allows you to do crazy overlays onto any video feed.
Mm-hmm.
I've
Neat.
played with a few of them over the years.
Are they any
I
good?
think Ecamm has one. Camo was another one I tried.
Was there an EvoCam?
Yep, EvoCam, that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the earlier ways we did overlaying before it started getting built into the streaming programs.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, EvoCam was. Okay. Apparently that one's gone.
They're gone. It was 32-bit.
Yeah, Camo I tried. OBS Studio doesn't quite have the overlay feature, but
Mhm.
you can build up a bunch of text on top of the video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ecamm I've heard about. Webcam overlay I haven't seen. So for a while I was trying to use the iPhone as a secondary camera,
Mm-hmm.
and a couple of those programs. I think Camo was one that did that too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, EvoCam is on SourceForge.
I hear a noise from my printer.
Nice.
Oh my goodness.
No, it must be working.
It's making noise.
Yeah. Is anything going to come out?
Well, I see the red X. Usually that goes with the actual print.
Yeah, to let you cancel the print job. Overcam. That sounds interesting.
Hmm.
Free with in-app purchases. Subscription.
So there might be something out there as to how good it is. We don't know yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually you can say compare Overcam to EvoCam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, here's a video showing how to use EvoCam.
And then there's what the AIs can do. Just today on the news, there was something about Bruce Blakeman making up, fake AI videos using Kathy Hochul.
Yep.
Yeah.
And people are kind of upset about him doing it. And he says, "Oh, it's all parody." Well, not really. Not for his purposes.
So Sora is Da Vinci. What was the one Google was using that they shut down to make fake AI video?
I think it was Sora 2, wasn't it? Didn't they get rid of it? Yeah, it says, why did Sora 2 shut down?
Yep. Too many people using it to create too many fake things. Passing as real.
So Blakeman was using Sora? Is that what you heard?
I don't know what tool he was using, but he was definitely making up fake AI.
Well, on Facebook recently, there's a black guy from Rochester who must have discovered AI, and he posted about 4 different memes with a picture of himself and these, things disparaging the Democrats and, mostly false stuff. But I could see it was just pumping it out to some low-level politician, wannabe politician. He's not even, I don't know who he is. I responded. I was just curious about it, but
You say as long as the content is correct, there's nothing wrong with using AI. He calls it satire and humor.
So what makes a content correct?
Yeah. Well, that's according to him, right?
Yeah, I mean, definition of correct content. I mean,
Yep.
having a person saying something that they didn't actually say doesn't sound correct to me.
No, it's not correct.
So.
yeah, if you're familiar with the primaries that went off yesterday, Francesca Hung was the front runner for the, what was it, governorship? Carol?
Yeah.
Governorship, and they were lambasting her for tweets that she posted when she was young and foolish, like get rid of Thanksgiving. So they're trying to make it sound like she's campaigning on the idea of getting rid of Thanksgiving, but it was just, some foolish tweet that she did maybe 10, 15 years ago. And they're trying to hang that around her neck.
Yeah.
So something being out of context isn't necessarily illegal.
Yeah. Apparently. So it becomes more of an issue on trusting video evidence.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You need the chain of custody.
Yeah.
Yeah, it used to be, if it was a videotaped thing, you could say, oh, wow, that really happened. And not anymore.
Well, and there's a difference between someone with high analytical tools being able to determine if something was doctored and the average person seeing, a whole stream of things going past their eyeballs every day, being able to know which stuff really happened and which didn't.
Yeah. There's been a surge of deep fakes in ransomware. Somebody calls and says, "I've got your, kidnapped your son. Send me money." One of the nastiest ones I heard about was a woman got a call from her daughter who said she was in a car accident, and they're going to take her and arrest her, and she needs $20,000 for bail right now, and we're going to send a courier to your house. And the woman believed it and got 20 grand and gave it to the courier. And then like an hour later got another call from the daughter saying, "Oh my God, one of the people was pregnant and they lost the baby and they're going to charge me with murder. I need 50 grand in bail and we're going to send a courier." And then the son came home from school and said, "Why don't you call her office and see if this is true or not?" And she was at work, didn't know any of this was happening, and the voice was so familiar to the mom that she swore it was her daughter. Audio is a lot easier to fake than video. There was, let's see, there was a thing you could buy on Facebook. One of the big things on AI is fingers are hard, and we're always extra fingers on a lot of video.
God.
So if you buy go away, you buy this extra finger and put it on you. If anyone ever takes a video of you, you can say it's fake AI. Look, there's extra fingers.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
I think the movie industry, in one of the latest contracts that they had done, of course this is probably a year ago now, was that there was an agreement that they wouldn't be using AI actors for 2 years.
In just 2 years.
Just 2 years, yeah. So things are going to probably change quite a bit.
Yeah.
Renewal comes around again.
Yeah, that was the last big strike they had.
Yeah. That was one of the big issues.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, what's the name of that first AI actress that they created? I don't remember.
Tilly Norwood?
Sounds good.
Telling or what?
The uncanny valley has been filled in. I forget, saw a scientist talking about the uncanny valley, where something that looks human but isn't. Why did we develop that evolutionary trait? What point in our history were there things that looked human that weren't, that we had to be afraid of?
Well, is this time or around the time of the Cro-Magnon Neanderthal split?
Could be, yeah.
Although
Yeah,
the
we've had scarecrows forever. And
Cro-Magnons and Neanderthals apparently did interbreed some.
Yeah, there's some DNA there. I don't know what percentage it is. It's small.
They are still among us.
Yeah.
But
Well,
if enough of their DNA combines in one person, the person may have, for example, orange hair, or be kind of on the chunky side and have a raspy voice and think he's the center of the universe. But you know, that's
Yeah.
Neanderthal.
Sounds familiar.
there've been people who have done those DNA ancestry things and say they're 1% or 2% Neanderthal.
I think Carol's nephew, Ian, and his DNA analysis, wasn't there a share of Neanderthal? I think you're muted. I don't hear you very well.
Yep, sorry, I was muted. Yeah, it was very, very slight because we had a chuckle about it.
Yeah, because he's Scottish and very European, but he had African DNA.
Which I guess technically we all do, if the origin stories are correct.
We go back far enough, yeah. Alrighty, let me. Should we bring up your passkey document, Charlie?
Yeah, well, if you want to, I mean, just use it as a guide for discussion. I just got kind of, as I may have mentioned in my questions to Claude, I may have said that I have not gotten involved personally with passkeys very much, but when it's happened, it's been kind of surprising, and I might as well go straight to is sort of the end of it, but the thing with Amazon, where I would log onto my Amazon account with my user ID, and then I would have a choice of using a password or a fingerprint as a passkey. Now, I do have fingerprint, ID on my MacBook here, but my question became, how did Amazon access the fingerprint data? Now, I think the explanation from Claude does explain that somehow it's accessing something in my MacBook that then, I don't know, validates my, but blah, blah, blah. But the funny thing about it is that just this afternoon, I logged on to Amazon from a different browser. I do a lot of my stuff in Chrome, but I was in Safari at the time. And I had to put in my user ID. And then um, I had to enable fingerprint identification, and that required me to enter my password as my administrator for this MacBook. And I'm getting to the point where, I can't keep track of all the malware stuff, let alone cope with it. I depend heavily on Malwarebytes to take care of that, but they also, at least once a month, send out a newsletter about the latest scams going on. And some of the most recent stuff was about things, getting into your computer and accessing things like your password, your keychain, or whatever, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm getting a little freaked out by this. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, I say in general, the passkeys are stored in your browser. So if you use a different browser, it needs a different passkey.
Okay.
Google stores your passkeys in your Google account, and Apple stores your passkeys in your iCloud account. So when you go to another device, it knows your passkey. So in order to save the passkey, Apple would ask you for your admin password, and Google should have asked you for your Google password. But it may have been, you may have entered your Google password recently enough that it didn't need to ask again. So that's why. So the problem is when something asks for your password, you have to stop and think, does it make sense for anything to be asking for your password? Are you doing anything security related? Because what Malwarebytes talks about are malicious programs that get into your computer and they want to see your password list. They need your password to look at the rest of the list. So does it make sense that if you're not even in a website, say you're looking at mail, and suddenly something is asking for your password? It sort of comes down to, you got to read the message close enough to see what program it is that's asking, and does it make sense that that program is asking?
Yep. It's starting to demand more mental capacity than I can count on having at any given time. I might sometimes, but not often.
Yeah. Yeah, Troy Hunt, who he's a senior Microsoft VP in Justice Security, runs the Have I Been Pwned website. He said when he got tricked, he got an email from his email provider list, Constant Contact, saying your password's been compromised. Please enter a new password. And it looked real, and so he did. And the bad guys got into his email list and sent out fake email from the real list. So I think he said he caught it like in half an hour or so that something wasn't right. But even the best of us can get tricked by a smart enough or worded well enough malicious message. So the big advantage of passkeys is it's not a password you have to remember, and it's not a password the other end is going to lose in a data breach. So that's the two biggest advantages of passkeys.
So in other words, pardon me for cutting in here, but when you get to the two, oh God, the numbers, the public and the private decryption keys or something like that.
Yeah.
The malefactor cannot just get in and get the private key that the website or whatever has stored on you, or what?
Yeah.
They cannot.
They cannot. They have your public key, and they ask your computer if it matches the private key. And it's a multiplication and then a division, and it boils down to the fact that factoring large prime numbers is virtually impossible. So you have you know, a 100-digit prime number times another 100-digit prime number, and trying to factor that back into the original numbers is virtually impossible with today's computers. And so the website works by asking your browser, is this Charlie logging in? And your browser loads the passkey, and you either hit your fingerprint or you type your admin password. And if it matches, the browser tells the website, yes, this is Charlie. So the website never actually sees anything on your computer. It just asks, is this login valid? And the browser sends back yes or no.
And when it's asking, is this login valid, is the login it's referring to the big prime number that's your private key?
Yeah, it passes your public key, which has to match your private key in order to validate that it is you.
I have a feeling that I'm not even understanding the terms public and private in this whole subject of encryption. I don't know. And don't try to, don't waste a piece of your life trying to get me to understand, because it may be in the category of things I never will understand. I don't know.
Yeah,
Unless you want to.
public key encryption. Been around since the 70s.
Yeah, but who has
Yeah.
the public key and who has the private key?
You have both. And the public key is known to the public, and the private key is kept private on your device.
When you say known to the public, where do they find it? How do they?
The other end asks for it during the login process.
All right, so you've got two keys, a public and a private, and the public one is the one that you reveal to the interrogator, and then they try to use it, and if it computes with your private key, then your device sends a message saying, yeah, it's me or something, I don't know.
Yep, basically. It validates that the public key and the private key match, and they both came from the same person.
Okay.
Let me go to here. There's an interesting little diagram with envelopes and keys. So you're asking to log in somewhere, and the sender sends a bit of text, which is encrypted with your public key, which then you decrypt with your private key. And if you can decrypt it, that proves that was you. So the other end knows it's you and logs you in. So public key encryption is used to encrypt websites, digital signatures on applications. You can do encrypted email, but it's a little tricky to pass those public keys around. Prime numbers. If we want to see, let's see, where's the math somewhere? The algorithm. Oh, maybe not. This might not be the right article I'm thinking of. So Bob and Alice want to encrypt a private message. So Bob gets Alice's public key and sends a message to Alice, who then can decrypt it with her private key. So that means it really came from Bob.
Well, I'm a little confused there, because Bob has gotten the public key from Alice, and so then she uses it to encrypt something. But what's to say that Bob is a legitimate correspondent or something, that it's not from a scam site or something?
Nothing.
That's okay.
So this is just asserting that the sender is, how's the word? The sender is who they say they are. So the other half of encryption is authentication. So that's how you tell it's the right person, not just any person. So you encrypt the data is one half of it, and then authenticate that it's going to the right place is the other half of it. And those are the security certificates built into your web browsers. And only the real company can issue a certificate in that domain name. Let's see if I can show this. Present something else. No, it's not letting me see the encryption. So in Safari or in Chrome, you can click in the see, in Chrome it's in the left of the toolbar. Where is it in Safari? In the Safari menu under Connection Details, you can see the certificate and who signed to that certificate. Which shows you certificate. Shows you the layers of trust. So there are root certificates that issue that allow certificate authorities to generate their own certificates. And then so that certificate authority generates a certificate for a website. And so we have this chain of trust back to the root certificate. And there are a bunch of watchdogs that are watching the certificate system. And every now and then a certificate authority gets revoked because they've been doing things bad or issuing certificates they shouldn't be issuing. And so they get shut down. It's like somebody called it a license to print money. So in the early days, security certificates were very expensive, hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Today you can get one for free from a company called Let's Encrypt. And they are now hosting 700 million websites. So one of the fears is that quantum computing is going to be able to factor large prime numbers. And so that will be a problem with future encryption, because if they can break large prime numbers, then that's the problem. But they've already started. I'm trying to find a program here to do it. They've already started doing quantum safe encryption algorithms. So 101 is a prime number, and the factors of 101, are 1 and itself. So that's sort of the definition of prime.
I think they're trying to look into using quantum entanglement for your message sending. And what they'd be able to do if they can make that work is they would be able to tell whether or not the message sent had been interfered with at all.
Right. So before messages are encrypted, they're usually hashed so that any change in the text, even a 1-bit change in the text, generates a different hash. So that hash is then verified at the other end to make sure nothing changed along the way. So and all of this you never have to worry about unless you get a unsecure website warning. And most of the time, it's because the other end forgot to renew their certificate.
And of course, this is eventually going down to you're going to have to renew your certificate every 47 days. So they're trying to turn that into a cash cow where you'll pay someone to do that for you.
Or you write a Let's Encrypt script that does it automatically.
Yeah.
I think,
I guess we'll have to use the AI to help us write the script.
yeah. So right now it's 200 days, moving to 100 days in 2027 and 47 days in 2029. Let's Encrypt already does 30-day 30-day expiration.
And they'll automatically update for you if you use the script?
Yes. It's, what's the name of it? Update protocol. No, is it Acme? Yeah, the Acme protocol. And software like CertBot to automatically update your certs. So the problem they're trying to solve is, what if a certificate gets broken or lost to the bad guys? It used to stay around for 10 years. But every time the industry tried to change the way certificates worked to help prevent revoked certificates, it didn't work. In fact, Steve Gibson at GRC was doing so much work on it that Google put a special code in Chrome to say, if this is GRC asking, go ahead and let them through. So here is an example of a revoked certificate. Google knows it's revoked and is warning you not to go to that website.
Are we supposed to be seeing this in presentation mode?
Oh, yeah, it fell off, sorry. There we are, yeah, so revoked.grc.com. You can go to that website anyway, which they make very hard to do, which you generally shouldn't go to a revoked certificate, because that usually means the bad guys are in control of it, and you don't want to give any money to the bad guys. So that's what they're trying to do, is by cutting down on the life of certificates, it is going to make a revoked certificate appear faster. But that you can, there's something called a Bloom filter that is the latest attempt at chasing down revoked certificates. The problem is that there's millions of revoked certificates, and every time your web browser goes to a web page, it has to look at every single revoked certificate to see if the one that page is using has been revoked or not. And that used to take a lot of time, but then someone came up with something called the Bloom filter that is a very fast way to test if a certificate has been revoked or not.
So it's just getting revoked because it's timing out?
No, that's expired. Revoked means that the issuer of their certificate intentionally revoked it because of a problem. The bad guys got a hold of the public key pair. So something is wrong with that certificate that they don't want anyone to use it anymore, so they revoke it.
Want me to put my hand up?
No.
Well, I think some other time we'll have to talk about crypto and how that's been changing. Because that's a whole nother ball of wax, too.
Most of the time, you don't have to worry about any of this. It's all done in the background without you needing to worry about it. The only time you do
But I
worry
think
about
it's
it
still
is
important to understand the process.
yeah.
Because, especially with financial transactions, I mean, this is how we got into the problem with the hedge funds, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so if you get an expired certificate message, don't go to that website. If you get a revoked certificate message, don't go to that website.
And then I will yield to Carol amazingly in a moment, but the sample you showed us of the block, unsecure website, I couldn't read the fine print or whatever, but I get those once in a while, and my question is whether
Okay.
in that message it says something about the certificate, or does it just say it's a bad website, don't go there?
Well, when it's revoked, it actually does say the certificate has been revoked. Let me bring it back up and make the text bigger.
Thank you. Thank you, Sonny. No, a little bigger.
So the same message comes up if the certificate has expired, or if a name mismatch is another common one. It's like we took care of this, but like you go to Mac Ave and you get a name mismatch because it's the Jesse Group signed the certificate. So we actually had to get a second certificate for Mac Ave.
Uh-huh.
You'll also
That thing
go ahead.
That thing it's saying there about turning on enhanced protection, is that some kind of extension or something on Chrome that you can do and not have to pay for and yada yada?
Yeah, it's a higher level of protection, but it means it's AI powered, so it downloads an AI model to your computer. Yeah, maybe I don't like that idea of that.
Yeah, on the one hand, on the other hand, I'm wondering how many of those I have in this Mac already and don't know it.
Yeah.
But anyway. So.
The standard protection is enough.
Okay. Thank you.
Can you see in the screen, at the top of the screen where your address bar is, the HTTP, yeah, you can't see it on YouTube. Where you normally see the HTTP, // the name of the website you're on, it actually crosses out the secure and says not secure. Websites used to always tell you if it was secure. Now they warn you when they're not secure, because virtually every website is secure now.
Thank you. Carol Maisley wanted to ask something. I don't know what.
It's actually Bob has a comment.
Well, I quit accidentally, and now it won't let me back in. So I'm just going to say good night, and I'll see you guys next week.
Okay.
Right.
Good night.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
I didn't think there was any time limit on this.
Well, we'll find out in the next few minutes because we all logged on sometime.
Yeah.
Shortly after, I'm sure. If we get automatically bumped off or killed or something here. Do you want us to try to rejoin or just call it a night?
I think we're about done.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't. I think the time limit was 24 hours on the workspace account.
Okay.
Yeah. So back to your sort of the underlying thing of passkeys is encryption, and passkeys are standardized by the FIDO Alliance. So that's the group that writes the standards that companies agree to. So the OSs have to support passkeys, the browsers support passkeys, and more websites are supporting passkeys as well. So this 68% of enterprises use passkeys, but only 49% of regular people use passkeys. Partly because I'm guessing they don't know what it is, and they don't know that it's more secure. The other danger of a passkey is if you lose your phone. In the Apple world, the passkey is stored in iCloud, so you can still get in on another device. But if you lose all your devices, there'll be a problem because you can't when you log into a new device, it sends a security code to your other devices. If you lose all of your devices, that's going to be tricky logging back in anywhere. Let's see. Now Microsoft did a thing where if you set up a passkey, it removes your password, which I'm not sure if I like or not. Because if the passkey doesn't work, you don't have that phone handy, you can fall back to the password.
Right. When you say Microsoft did that, is that in any device using Windows OS or?
No, it's anyone who logs into a Microsoft account,
Okay.
which can be Mac users using Microsoft Office or Microsoft Services.
Mm-hmm.
So, passkeys don't support two-factor authentication because that was the last way that passwords were hardened. So the password is your first key or first factor, and then a code was sent to you, typically over text messaging, as the second factor, so that if someone got your if someone got your password, somewhere in the world got your password, they would still have to have your phone in order to log into your account. If you were a high enough value target, text messages are not encrypted, so they could make arrangements to clone your phone and receive all of your text messages. So Apple uses a notification system, which pops up a notification on your screen. Google uses another logged-in Google app. So you try to log into your Mac, into Gmail, and it says go to your iPad and open the YouTube app and say this is really me. So Google relies on you having other Google apps. With passkeys, you don't need that because it's cryptographically tied to your device, and someone would have to be physically on your device. And so your device should have its own passcode to prevent people from using your device to log in to your stuff.
I got a problem with notifications. They show up. By the time I realize they're there and I try to read them, they're gone. And I don't know how to look at them again.
On Mac or phone?
Or Mac.
Click the clock, and it brings up your notifications, the previous notifications, and the clock in the upper right corner. stay. Oh, 3 days ago, I got a notification that the battery is low on my AirTag. I better find some CR2032s to replace that battery.
You know, Steve, I just clicked on the clock on my MacBook, clickety clock, and what it says was how to edit widgets.
You may not have any recent notifications.
Yeah, that's what I got too.
Okay.
I'm also having a problem with one of my computers. I think it's under Tahoe, where there's a big space that's kind of pushed everything out of the way on the desktop. And apparently that's supposedly where widgets would be if I had any active. But I would like to use that space because I really don't use widgets.
There's probably an empty widget there. So let me remember how to get back to the widget editing. Yeah, click the clock, and you can choose Edit Widgets, and then delete any widget that you have there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a way to do it directly on the widget. Yeah, hold the Option key down on the desktop. Hold the Option key down and point to the widget, and in the upper left corner you'll get a minus button to delete that widget.
Okay. And hopefully once I do that, then I'll be able to use that space in my desktop.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you for that.
I've got a weather widget on mine. So my last notification was at 7 o'clock, saying the rain's going to stop soon. Alrighty, are we about full? With enough confusing?
Yeah.
Confusing? Yeah.
Brain is full. Come back tomorrow.
Yeah, I think I am because I've been trying to, instead of handwriting notes during the meeting because I can't read my damn handwriting, I've been using my iPad off on the side here and a Bluetooth keyboard to use the notes app to take notes from the meeting.
Yep.
And I just, I've got the keyboard on my lap and I just looked over at my Mac screen to see what I was typing, which is not on there because it's on the iPad over here. So yeah, I think I've reached full confusion.
Which reminds me, on the YouTube feed, do we get closed captioning on that after a while? Does it show up?
It shows up live. And
That
then,
also,
and then
If we look at recordings, we can see it later.
It recaptions it after the fact.
you should be able to.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Steve.
I would say it's interesting that it does live captioning, but then after you save the video, it recaptions it, I guess, with a stronger model, so it makes sure the captions are better.
I think it turns it into a transcript.
Right, you call it that. But the interesting thing about that is I think that if you're, for example, you're in a Google Meet like we are, and you turn on closed captioning, it will say who each speaker is as it prints out what they're saying. But when you go to the YouTube recording and look at the transcript, you cannot tell, looking at the transcript, which person is speaking. Well, that's not entirely true, because you can sync the transcript with the video. And if you do that right, you should be able to tell who's talking. But at any rate, that's a big reason why I nag about the volume levels on the YouTube recording a lot, because in extreme cases where, Steve, your volume is too low, the transcript of the recording will not even show what you said.
Yep.
And you just get the people in the audience, and then it's not too useful.
Yeah. Now, Google Meet knows who's talking because it knows where the audio is coming from.
Exactly.
the participants.
But somehow,
There are some other captioning programs that are supposed to be able to split out each speaker by probably the waveform of their voice.
you know,
I'm surprised
But,
Google isn't adding that.
well, but it seems to me that somehow between the way Google operates the closed captioning in the Google Meet and the way it handles the transcript in the YouTube video recording, it would be nice if they could transfer that information that is present in the Google Meet closed captioning over to the YouTube recording transcript. But as you say, it's two separate systems doing the work, and they're not talking to each other.
Yeah, and I've got OBS as the intermediary. It makes no sense that Google Meet doesn't have an option to simulcast on YouTube. Other than probably the one guy that wrote Google Meet didn't add it.
No, interesting. Well, it has certainly been a load of information, folks.
Yep. Join us on Saturday for Sound Bites. And where's my calendar? The next Green Apples meeting is on September 5th, first Saturday
Well,
of
if
the month.
anyone showed up at Bob's,
Well, we'll find out at the meeting, I guess.
right, well, be sure to ask him.
Will you be
Alrighty.
going, Rick?
I'm sorry, what?
What, will you be going?
Well, I wanted to, but I forgot all about it.
No, I know, I didn't go either, but next time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, I guess, been moved to the first Saturday of the month, so
Yeah.
it's hard to get used to.
Well, I guess I'm going to say goodnight.
Okay.
Thank you,
Good to
one
see
and all.
you all. Thank you, Steve.
Good. Yep. Alrighty.
Thanks,
Night, all.
Steve. Good night.
Bye.